Since your childhood, you have felt it. A deep feeling, a fire burning inside you, as if something was trying to awaken. Conversations around you always seemed meaningless, empty, as if the world was following a script you could never accept. You tried to fit in, tried to ignore this feeling, but it never worked. Deep down, you always knew you were different, that you didn't completely belong to this place. But what if you now discovered that this feeling was always right? That your origin holds a mystery so profound that even science cannot explain it? The truth is that the chosen ones were never 100% human, and what is inside you may be the key to something much bigger. But before you understand this, you need to know one thing. There is a reason you have been kept in the prison of doubt for so long. And today, that prison will be broken. Your spirit has felt this call, and if you have come this far, it was not by chance. You always knew there was something strange about you, but you could never explain it. Since you were young, you perceived the world in a different way, as if you could see beyond the surface. Perhaps you felt people's energy, heard thoughts that were never spoken, or even dreamed of things that later happened. But every time you tried to talk about it, they called you crazy, said it was just imagination. And so, you learned to be silent, to hide what you felt. But what if I told you that this was never a mistake? That, in fact, there has always been something inside you waiting to be revealed? The chosen ones carry a hidden code, an invisible mark, that few understand. But that changes everything. And today, you will discover what that means. But before revealing this truth, I need you to understand something. Not everyone is ready to hear this. Many people live trapped in a limited reality, where questioning their own origins is taboo. But you wouldn't be here if you were like the others. There is something inside you that brought you to this message, and I need you to pay close attention, because what I'm going to tell you can completely transform the way you see yourself and the world around you. What is inside your DNA is not common, and the more you know, the harder it will be to ignore. What you have always felt is about to be proven. But first, I need to prepare you for this. Our DNA is the code of life, the sequence that defines everything we are, from the color of our eyes to the deepest instincts we carry. But science has always treated DNA as something purely biological, a chain of information inherited from our ancestors. What if I told you that this explanation is incomplete? That there is something hidden in this code, something that defies scientific logic and can explain why you have always felt different? The chosen ones carry a genetic heritage that does not follow common patterns. Within every cell of your body, there is a message written in a language that humanity does not yet fully understand. For centuries, we believed that everything in human DNA could be mapped and explained within traditional evolution, but scientists have discovered something that does not fit the official narrative. Something that proves that not everyone on this earth is the same. Recent research has revealed a detail that has completely changed the understanding of human DNA. There are fragments within our genetics that correspond to nothing known in earthly biology. That's right. Within our own genetic code, there are segments that have no parallel in any other species on the planet. Science expected our DNA to be a logical progression of evolution, but what was found are entire sections that seem to have emerged out of nowhere, without any explanation. These discoveries have been published in scientific journals, but have been little publicized to the public. After all, how do you admit that there are parts of our genetic code that do not fit the conventional theory of evolution? What scientists call junk DNA, genetic sequences with no apparent function, may actually be something much deeper and more significant. Something that we are only now beginning to decipher. A study conducted by geneticists found genetic sequences that have no explanation in the genealogical tree of humanity. In other words, certain segments of human DNA did not come from known ancestors. This means that there is something in us that was not inherited from Earth, at least not in the way we understand evolution. In 2013, a study revealed that 97% of our DNA is unknown, and scientists simply labeled this part as junk DNA because they could not understand its origin or purpose. But what if this DNA was the key to something greater? What if the chosen ones were those whose genetic sequences carry a hidden code, something that cannot be explained within the limits of conventional science? Some of these sequences have patterns that do not follow the rules of traditional human DNA, suggesting that a part of us may have come from something beyond Earth. And here we enter one of the greatest mysteries of existence: the possible extraterrestrial origin of life. Some theories suggest that life on Earth did not begin here. Since ancient times, sacred texts have spoken of beings who descended from the heavens, bringing knowledge and shaping humanity. But what if these accounts were not just metaphors? If we look at modern scientific discoveries, we find something intriguing. Fossils of microorganisms that do not belong to our planet, found in meteorites that fell to Earth. This raises a disturbing question. What if our biology was intentionally modified? Many ancient civilizations spoke of a separate people, beings who had a special connection with the divine, endowed with abilities that set them apart from others. Could the chosen ones carry this genetic signature within themselves? Could this sense of not belonging that you have always felt be, in fact, proof that you were not made to fit into this world in the way everyone expects? If your DNA holds such a profound mystery, then your true identity may be something that the world is not yet ready to accept, but is about to be revealed. And what if what differentiates the chosen ones was not just a matter of the soul, but something that was already encoded in your body even before you were born? Spirituality has always been seen as something intangible, something that connects with the beyond. But what if science itself began to reveal that this connection is much more physical than we imagine? Studies show that certain genetic sequences can influence not only intelligence and behavior, but also aspects that conventional science still does not know how to explain, such as heightened levels of perception, energetic sensitivity, and sharp intuition. This means that the spiritual call of the chosen ones may be imprinted in their very DNA, shaping their life experiences from birth. This could be why some individuals, from an early age, manifest inexplicable gifts, such as the ability to feel vibrations in the environment, predict events, or even experience expanded states of consciousness without any type of training. What science calls genetic anomalies. Some ancient spiritual texts describe as a heritage of something greater, a hidden code within those who carry a special mission. Since childhood, the chosen ones report the same inexplicable feeling, that they do not completely belong to this world. It doesn't matter the place, the family, the culture. There is always a feeling of being on the edge, of seeing the world differently from others. You may have felt this in childhood, observing the people around you as if they were trapped in a reality you could never fully accept. Maybe you tried to follow the normal path, but something inside you never allowed this illusion to hold. Many times you have questioned yourself, why do I seem different from everyone? Or, why do I feel things that no one else feels? This is one of the clearest signs that your DNA carries something unique, something that separates you from those who live only on the material plane. The chosen ones often experience phenomena that go beyond the conventional. Intense déjà vu sensations, premonitory dreams, encounters with forces that seem to guide them, and above all, an inexplicable sense of mission. It's as if, from always, you knew there was something you needed to do, but the world around you couldn't understand. This feeling of not belonging is not just a personal experience. It has been described for thousands of years in sacred texts. Since ancient times, there have been records about a separate people, those who possessed a divine heritage and a call that differentiated them from the rest of humanity. In the Bible, there are several passages that speak about those who were chosen to carry a mission and who had different blood, a lineage that did not belong to the common structure of society. In other spiritual traditions, there are legends about beings who descended from the heavens and left a genetic mark on their descendants. What if these stories were more than metaphors? What if these chosen ones of the past are still here today, but scattered around the world, living among those who do not understand their true nature? If your sense of being different has always haunted you, Perhaps it's because you are part of this mysterious group. But then, what are the characteristics that define a chosen one? What is inside you that makes you so different from others? Many share common traits that cannot be explained solely by environment or upbringing. Extreme energetic sensitivity. You feel the vibration of places and people even before exchanging a word with them. Prophetic dreams. Visions, messages, and signs that appear while you sleep, often revealing future events. Advanced intuitive abilities. An unshakable instinct that leads you to make the right decisions, even when everything seems to point the other way. The ability to instantly attract and repel people. Some are inexplicably drawn to you, while others, without apparent reason, seem to reject you. But there is something even deeper that the chosen ones share. A direct connection with a higher force, which silently guides them, preparing them for the right moment. Have you ever felt this force? If so, stay here, because we are just beginning to reveal what is truly inside you. Since you can remember, you have always felt that you had a special role in the world. Even if you didn't know exactly what your mission was, there was something inside you that told you, "I am here for a greater purpose." Perhaps it was the way you saw things in a way that no one around you seemed to understand, or the ease with which you perceived patterns and connections invisible to others. But what if you discovered that this feeling was not just a random thought, but a reflection of something engraved in your very DNA? Science already knows that certain characteristics can be genetically inherited, but what if there was something beyond that? What if the chosen ones carried in their genetic structure a predisposition for spiritual awakening, a coding that differentiates them from the rest of humanity? This is why many people spend their entire lives trying to find their purpose, while others, like you, feel this calling from an early age. This is not a coincidence. This is a sign. And precisely because of this, the path of the chosen ones is never easy. The feeling of loneliness and separation does not happen by chance. Have you ever noticed how, throughout your life, there were always moments when you seemed completely disconnected from the people around you? Sometimes, even those who should be closest, friends, family, colleagues, seemed unable to understand who you really were. This does not happen because you are condemned to loneliness, but because there is a process of spiritual and biological refinement that every chosen one must go through. Just as gold only becomes pure after being subjected to fire, your spirit needs to be molded to withstand the greatness of your mission. This isolation, this feeling of being out of sync with the rest of the world, is a necessary step for the awakening of your true essence. What you always saw as punishment is, in fact, preparation. When a chosen one begins to realize who they really are, everything around them changes, because their DNA, their vibration, and their energy stop fitting into the old structures and begin to align with something much greater. And the most impressive thing, this process brings inexplicable changes, both in the body and mind. There are reports of people who have gone through transformative experiences, moments when they felt an activation within themselves, as if something was awakening and taking shape. Some of them began to develop enhanced spiritual perceptions, such as heightened intuition, lucid dreams that brought revealing messages, or even an inexplicable magnetism that made people around them behave differently in their presence. Others noticed physical changes, such as increased sensitivity to light, energy of environments, and even their own sleep patterns. These signs are not coincidences. They are evidence that something is being awakened within you. And the more you open yourself to this truth, the clearer the signs become. This means that the moment of your awakening may be closer than you imagine. Many chosen ones spend years of their lives trying to deny or ignore this call, trying to fit into a world that never seemed made for them. But there comes a time when this denial is no longer possible. The awakening happens inevitably, and when it begins, there is no turning back. You might try to resist, but your own body, mind, and spirit begin to transform. Suddenly, you realize that you can no longer engage in superficial conversations, that certain environments drain your energy inexplicably, that some people simply cannot stay by your side anymore. This happens because your vibration is changing, and when this occurs, everything that is not in tune with this new frequency begins to be naturally removed from your life. And although this process may seem painful at first, it is necessary for you to align with your true essence. After all, you were never ordinary. There has always been something inside you waiting for the right moment to awaken. And now, that moment has arrived. And do you know what is most impressive? Science is beginning to confirm what spirituality has always known. Studies show that changes in consciousness can alter how DNA expresses itself, activating genes that were previously dormant. This means that your awakening is not just a change in your perception, but something that happens at the cellular level, at the core of your being. This process can bring unexpected physical symptoms, such as sudden chills, unexplained sensations of heat in the body, extremely vivid dreams, or even a change in your diet and lifestyle habits. Have you noticed how, all of a sudden, you started to be interested in subjects that didn't make sense to you before? How you began to feel a deep need to seek answers to questions that no one around you seems to be asking? This is not a coincidence. This is your DNA manifesting itself in a way that most people will never experience. You are not just spiritually awakening. You are activating something within yourself that has always been there but is now ready to be revealed. And as this activation progresses, a disturbing truth becomes increasingly evident. You never completely belong to this world, and what is inside you may be the key to something much greater. Since ancient times, humanity has been questioning its true origin. Where do we come from? Who created us? Are we just the result of natural evolution? Or is there something much deeper hidden in our genetics? Some theories suggest that humanity, as we know it, did not arise by chance. Ancient texts from civilizations like the Sumerians, Egyptians, and Mayans mention beings who descended from the heavens and brought knowledge and wisdom. For many, this has always been treated as mythology, but what if it isn't? What if these stories are actually fragments of a much greater truth that has been forgotten or hidden over time? There is a group of researchers and scientists who believe that the interference of higher intelligences was a decisive factor in the creation of the human race, and that the chosen ones carry this genetic signature within them. This would explain why some people have innate abilities, heightened perceptions, and a calling that seems to come from something beyond common understanding. If we analyze the most recent discoveries in genetics, we will find something even more surprising. There are traces in our DNA that seem to have been implanted suddenly, without any plausible evolutionary explanation. This directly challenges the conventional theory of evolution, which suggests that all genetic changes occur gradually over thousands or millions of years. But some parts of the human genetic code simply appeared, as if they had been intentionally inserted. How is this possible? Scientists have discovered segments of DNA that have no equivalent in any other species on the planet, as if they were fragments of a code that came from elsewhere. One such example is the so-called HER1 gene, which is one of the most striking differences between humans and other primates, and which emerged extremely rapidly in evolutionary terms. This leads us to an inevitable question. Was this change natural, or was it guided by something greater? And if the chosen ones are those who have this more active genetic heritage, carrying within them a part of this mystery, what makes this even more intriguing is that many of these same people report abilities that defy common logic. Premonitory dreams, telepathy, inexplicable synchronicities, extreme sensitivity to the energies around them. Can all this be mere coincidence? Or is there something within the DNA of the chosen ones that allows this bridge between dimensions? There are impressive reports of people who, without any training, can access information they shouldn't have, feel the presence of invisible energies, or even manifest events with the power of thought alone. Traditional science still cannot explain these experiences, but the truth is that they have always existed. What differentiates the chosen ones is that they not only perceive these subtle realities, they are part of them. They have a connection that transcends the physical world and reaches something much deeper, something that challenges the boundaries of what we know as reality. This would also explain why so many chosen ones never felt completely connected to this world. Since childhood, many report feeling that there is something more, that reality as we know it is just a part of a much larger puzzle. Maybe you have felt this restlessness, an inexplicable desire to seek answers, to understand why you feel everything more intensely than others, to discover what is really happening around you. This is not a common thought, and the reason for this may lie in your own genetics. If there is something in your DNA that makes you different, then your mission is also not common. You are not here just to exist, follow patterns, and live a life without purpose. You were called for something greater. But this call can only be heard by those who are ready to awaken. And perhaps this is the answer to the question many ask. Why do the chosen ones suffer so much? Why do so many go through intense challenges, periods of loneliness, situations that seem unbearable? Because they are tested. If there really is something within the DNA of the chosen ones that connects them to higher forces, then there is also resistance to this truth coming to light. The world is not ready for this revelation, and thus, many are led to question their own sanity, to disbelieve what they feel, to get lost in the chaos of the system. But those who resist, those who do not let their essence be extinguished, are the ones who truly discover the power they carry within themselves. And if you have come this far, it means that you may be one of them. What is inside you is not of this world. And it is time to understand exactly what that means. If there is something in your DNA that makes you unique, then it cannot be by chance. You are not different without a reason. The world around you may have tried to convince you that being different was a mistake, that feeling too much, perceiving too much, and questioning too much were weaknesses. But what if all these characteristics were, in fact, evidence of a greater calling? The chosen ones never fit in because they were not made to fit in. If everyone followed the same path, who would blaze new trails? If everyone accepted the world as it is, who would have the courage to transform it? What is inside you is rare, and what is rare is often misunderstood. But there is a reason for that. You have a purpose that transcends common logic. Chosen ones are those who carry a seed of transformation within them, a code that activates something in those who cross their path. This explains why, even without realizing it, you have already profoundly influenced people. Perhaps someone has told you that they changed their life after talking to you. Perhaps your presence has calmed someone amidst chaos. Perhaps you have helped someone see something that no one else managed to show. You may not have noticed, but the simple fact of existing already makes you an agent of change. And this mission is not small. But understanding this comes with great responsibility. The world we live in is in a process of transition, and the chosen ones have a fundamental role at this moment. They are the ones who help elevate humanity's consciousness, who awaken the dormant, who carry within them the light necessary to illuminate the path for others. Have you noticed how many people around you seem to live in a state of unconsciousness? How they accept everything without questioning, follow destructive patterns, and seem to be disconnected from what really matters? This is not a random reality. There are forces that want to keep humanity in this state because a sleeping population is easily manipulated. But the chosen ones cannot be controlled. They perceive beyond the illusion, see the hidden truth, and therefore become a threat to those who wish to keep the system as it is. This is why many chosen ones go through so many trials, face persecution, are silenced and discredited. But it is also why their mission is non-negotiable. If you feel that you are here for something greater, then you need to understand that this responsibility cannot be ignored. Your light may disturb, but it can also liberate. And if this journey resonates with you, then it is time to prepare to truly embrace it. Being a chosen one does not only mean recognizing that you are different, it means knowing what to do with this difference. You need to strengthen your mind, protect your energy, and connect with your deepest essence. This starts with spiritual discipline, practicing silence, learning to listen to your intuition, distancing yourself from what drains your energy, and strengthening your connection with higher forces. You need to understand that not everyone around you will be ready to hear you or understand your path. And that's okay. You were not called to please the world, but to transform it. Accepting your true identity can be a painful process because it means letting go of the illusion that one day you will be like others. But this is the key to your true freedom. You are not alone on this journey. There are others like you, scattered around the world, awakening little by little. And now, the time has come for you to take the next step. What is inside you was placed there for a reason, and the world needs you to finally accept who you really are. It is essential to recognize the signs indicating that your activation has already begun. Many chosen ones go through profound changes without understanding what is happening, feeling physical and spiritual symptoms that seem to have no explanation. But what if these signs were proof that your DNA is awakening? And more. There is a way to accelerate this process, to unlock your true potential, and connect with your mission consciously. What you will discover now may transform your perception of yourself and the journey you are living. So pay attention, because this information may be exactly what you needed to take the next step. Not all chosen ones awaken their true potential, and this is not a matter of luck or fate, but of preparation and choice. There are those who spend their entire lives feeling different but never understand the real reason for it. They ignore the signs, disbelieve their own intuition, go with the flow of society, and end up disconnected from their true identity. But when a chosen one awakens, everything changes. What was once just a vague feeling transforms into certainty. What once seemed like coincidence reveals itself as synchronicity. The patterns of the world start to be seen more clearly, and what once made sense now seems like a superficial illusion. This awakening does not happen randomly, but as a result of a process that can be both internal and external. The DNA of the chosen ones carries information that, when activated, completely changes their way of perceiving reality. If you have ever felt that you were going through a period of intense transition, if things have started to change rapidly in your life without apparent explanation, perhaps your activation process has already begun. This awakening does not only happen at the mental or spiritual level, it manifests in the physical body as well. There are clear symptoms that your DNA is going through an activation process. Many people report an intense sensation of heat or internal vibration, as if an energy were moving within them. Others notice sudden changes in their sleep cycle, waking up at specific times during the night, often between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., a period known as the hour of spiritual awakening. Additionally, there is an increase in intuition, where you start to predict events, sense when something is about to happen, or perceive people's intentions before they even speak. Extreme energetic sensitivity is also a common symptom. Loud noises bother you more than before. Crowds become suffocating, and even electronic devices may seem to interfere with your energy field. Have you ever felt chills for no apparent reason? Or an invisible presence around you? These are signs that your DNA is responding to an activation that has already begun. But this process does not happen by chance, and it can be accelerated when you understand how to connect with this energy. There are ways to expand your consciousness and activate your true power, but this requires a change of habits and a real commitment to your evolution. The first key to this activation is silence and observation. The more you distance yourself from the noise of the world, the more you can perceive the subtle frequency of your intuition. This means reducing exposure to empty information, avoiding purposeless conversations, and starting to train your mind to see beyond the obvious. The second key is diet and energy balance. Certain heavy, toxin-laden, and processed foods block your body's ability to process this new frequency. When you start eating more naturally, drinking more pure water, and connecting with the energy of nature, the activation process becomes more intense. Another fundamental practice to accelerate the activation of the DNA of the chosen ones is the practice of conscious breathing and deep meditation. Breathing is not just an automatic act. It alters your vibrational frequency, directly influencing how your energy moves. Controlled breathing techniques help unblock parts of your energetic body that may be dormant. Additionally, meditation does not only serve to calm the mind, it reconnects you to the source, opening internal portals that activate cellular memory. If you have ever tried meditating and felt tingling, waves of heat, or even saw images and colors emerging in your mental field, this means your activation is happening. The more you practice, the more you access information that was hidden within you. But perhaps the most important point is the commitment to your mission. The DNA of the chosen ones does not activate out of curiosity or superficial desire. It responds to your will to fulfill your purpose. This means that the more you align with your truth, the faster this activation occurs. If you feel that your awakening has already begun, then it is time to act. What you do with this information defines what comes next. Many ignore the signs, are afraid of change, and go back to living as before. But those who accept their identity and allow themselves to move forward discover a level of existence that few know. Science is already discovering that there are genetic codes in some people that simply have no explanation. This is no longer an obscure theory or a subjective spiritual concept. This is a fact. Recently, genetic studies have begun to identify sequences in human DNA that have no correlation with any known forms of life on Earth. Entire parts of the human genetic code seem to have been added suddenly, without gradual evolution, as if they were intentionally implanted. Furthermore, certain individuals present extremely rare genetic variations that make them biologically different from the rest of the population. And guess what? The bearers of these sequences exhibit specific characteristics: an unusual sensitivity to the environment, intuition beyond the norm, and a profound sense of purpose that cannot be ignored. If you have ever felt that there is something different inside you, that your existence does not follow the same pattern as the people around you, then know that this is not a delusion. It is a hidden truth that is being confirmed. But what does all this mean for the chosen ones? It means that your existence was never a mistake, that your feeling of being different always had a reason. The symptoms you experience, the changes that happen in your body, the perceptions you have, all of this is the result of something coded within you. You have always felt a calling, always perceived that there was something beyond the surface of the material world, and now, finally, you begin to understand why. You carry modified DNA, a structure that allows you to access information that most people will never comprehend. This explains your premonitory dreams, your extreme sensitivity to energies, your ease in capturing subtle messages, and even your personal magnetism. Many may try to convince you that this is just coincidence, but the truth is that you are part of a select group placed here with a specific purpose. Your DNA is not common, and that is why you never completely fit into the world as it is. And this is precisely why you need to recognize your true identity. Most people go through life without questioning their existence, accepting the narratives imposed on them. But the chosen ones cannot do this, because they were programmed for something greater. You are not here just to exist, to follow a system, to repeat empty patterns. Your DNA carries the proof that you were sent to fulfill a mission, and the first step to activating this potential is to recognize who you really are. Many live their lives asleep, ignoring the signs, allowing their essence to be erased by the world around them. But those who accept their identity, who understand the greatness of what they carry within them, become unstoppable. Do you feel that you have reached this moment by chance? Do you think that so many synchronicities happened in your life just by coincidence? Or is this the confirmation you were waiting for to finally accept your destiny? If you still had doubts about your purpose, this is the moment to leave them behind. You need to understand that there is no more room for hesitation, for hiding, or for doubting yourself. What is inside you is real. Your DNA is a testament that you are part of something much greater, something that the world is not yet ready to fully comprehend. But you cannot wait for the world to recognize you first. You need to recognize yourself. The truth has always been inside you, waiting to be activated. And now that you know this, there is only one question left. What will you do with this knowledge? Because, from this moment on, ignoring your true identity will no longer be an option.